Welcome, 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 welcome. It's Twanna here, your anxiety and career coach. And we are live tonight on YouTube, and we are also live on Facebook. And let's see, there we go. We got Facebook connected. Yes, 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 yes. All right. I love it when a plan comes together. Right, right, right. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. And you know what that means? That means it's Leadership Tuesday. Yes, when we talk all things leadership. So you're like, well, why is there a leadership and this is an anxiety and career group? Well, because oftentimes when we have, and I'm trying to find this and share it somewhere else, when we have anxiety, people like to tell us what we can't be, what we can't do, and you can't be an effective leader, and you can't do this, and you can't do that. So I like to come in and say, really, you do what you want to do, right? Right. And so that's what we're here today to talk about is Leadership Tuesdays, because yes, you can be a leader and be a little anxious or a lot anxious. And I also tossed in introverts, right? And I tossed that one in because I suffered from social anxiety and I was an introvert. So that was a special combination that made it particularly tough for me to be a leader. Okay. In fact, when I left the military, I declared I would never be a leader. Not ever, 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 never, ever would I ever be a leader again. Never in life. So yeah, don't say never. Don't say, I probably wouldn't say never, never, because guess what I became? Yeah, you guessed it, a leader. So it's not at the time it seemed like it was just the end of my world as I knew it. Um, so okay, Facebook is just giving me a hard time today. It's telling me I can't boost a post, but I didn't ask it to boost a post. So I don't know why it's telling me I can't boost because I'm not asking you to boost, right? Right. Okay. So yes, at the time, when I left the military, I just figured I was done. I was never going to be a leader ever again. I wasn't going to seek a leadership position. I would never ever lead anybody else. I was completely finished. Um, yeah, that didn't last long. It really did. It did not last long at all. I promise you, it did not last long at all. It and I look back now at it, it's kind of funny because no matter where I went, what organization I joined, even when I volunteered, I was always picked out to be a leader. We want you to do this. You're very good at this. You can get people to do this. You're very good at that. And I was always chosen to be a leader. I had already given my edict. I was never going to be a leader again. Not happening. Not going to happen. And so now when I look back over, I just get tickled because every time I turned around, someone was asking me to lead something. And for my mindset at the time, I didn't see myself as a leader. I felt I was complete failure. It just wasn't something I could do. Some people are born to it. Some people can't be trained into it. But me, not me, not me. Everybody else, not me. So yeah, that is kind of funny now because I have not one, but I have two corporations. So I lead two corporations, and there are oftentimes in my volunteer organizations, people ask me to lead, and they've done that the whole 20 something years I've been out of the military, which is why you see me laughing. It's like, I'm never ever going to be a leader. It's just not going to happen because I can't do this, and it just wasn't for me. Yeah. Uh, yeah, never say never because I was, in fact, a leader. So let me say that for those of you ladies who are in my Rising Above Anxiety group, I did share this video into the group and you're more than welcome to make comments in there or ask questions. It's just that I can't see in real time because I don't have my two screens up today. I'm only doing one screen. The great thing about making asking questions or making comments in the group is it's a closed group, so no one else outside of the group can see. The bad thing is I don't see the questions or the comments until after I'm done with the live feed. Now, sometimes I'll pop over depending on what I'm talking about, and sometimes I can catch the questions. But if you're wanting to ask me a question in real time about leadership, and being an introvert or leadership and being anxious, then head on over to my business page. It's Dr. Twanna Carter, Professional and Personal Counseling LLC, and then that's where you can actually ask me questions in real time. And I'll peek down every so often to see, who's asking me questions, and try to, and then answer those online. As well, when you pop on, give me a thumbs up and let me know you're there. And if you want to, drop me a line and let me know you're there. I know that, some of the people that are watching a little bit anxious, and a lot of us, like me, have social anxiety. And so we're kind of tenuous at best about being open on Facebook, and I totally get that. So for those of you in the group who, you can feel free in the group to ask questions or anything like that, because nobody's going to see it but us in the group. We've got a tribe. So saying, ladies, if you're enjoying these weekday videos that I do, Facebook Lives, feel free to join Rising Above Anxiety. It is a group that I have, and it is all about rising above anxiety. It's managing anxiety, managing the fear, managing the worry, managing the doubt, managing the overwhelm to have the career that you want. And we know that anxiety bleeds over all parts of our lives. So it's not just a career, but it's just managing your life, having relationships that you want, relationships with your significant other, if you do volunteer activities or if you have kids. And it's just bettering our lives and excelling and being with the tribe of women who understand what it is to have anxiety and who are working on themselves. So that's my pitch again: Rising Above Anxiety, free Facebook support group for women. And I'll say this again, fellas, I don't have a support group for the guys, but if there is interest, I will do one, because even though I tend to concentrate on ladies when I do coaching, I actually coach guys too. In fact, I started off coaching veterans. I coached veterans for about what, 4.5 years. I coached veterans into veterans who were homeless, or veterans who had severe and persistent mental illnesses. I coach them and help them find jobs in the community and then maintain those jobs. So I actually do coach men too. So don't feel like, and I do say ladies a lot, and I might need to change it, but I do coach men as well. I coach I coach the guys in corporate, and I coach guys who are not in corporate. So you're all welcome. Okay. So today I did want to talk about leadership teasing. So if you read my description, you saw the questions that I asked, and I said, can you be a leader and be anxious? And also, I came and asked another question: can you be a leader, be anxious, and be an introvert? Okay, so let me just say, hands down, yes, absolutely. You can be an effective leader if you have anxiety, and you can be an effective leader if you're an introvert, or if you have anxiety and you're an introvert. You can be an effective leader, right? And so saw someone down there give me a heart. Thank you, Fernando. I appreciate that. Um, so that's what we want to talk about. You heard me talk a little bit about my story. I did have social anxiety, and it pops up from time to time. So, and that's the thing, when I coach people, I tell them it's not about curing anxiety. It's not about curing social anxiety. It is about learning the strategies and the techniques and changing the mindset and rewiring the brain so that you can manage the anxiety to perform and excel like you need to. Okay, so I do manage my social anxiety extremely well. As you can see, I'm on here, mistakes and all. I'm on YouTube again, and I'm also on Facebook Live at the same time. And I have a group, and we're over 1,000 strong now. So yes, you can do it. And the thing is this: it is about finding your strengths and playing up to your strengths, right? While you manage anxiety and being authentically you. Very important, because if you're anything like me, you probably heard, that to be a great leader, you need to be an extrovert, because you got to be out front, you have to be loud, you got to be boisterous, you got to be seen, and everybody has to hear you. oftentimes when we think of leaders, those are the symptoms, the traits that we think of leaders, but that isn't always true. There's a quiet leadership, and there's nothing wrong with quiet leadership. A lot of people out there are introverted leaders. There are a lot of us out there, and we are just as effective as extrovert leaders, but you wouldn't know that if you looked at the people who are actually leaders, because oftentimes we choose extrovert people, and sometimes in the workplace, and those of you who are extroverts and those of you who are challenged with anxiety, you understand the process of being passed over as a leader because you may be anxious and you may be an introvert, right? We've all been there. So that's the reason for Leadership Tuesdays, because we understand that. So yes, you can be anxious and be a leader. You can be anxious and be an introvert and be a leader. It's about playing up to your strengths. It's not about trying to like identify every weakness you have and working on those weaknesses. It's good to pull up on the things that you're weak on. So I'm not going to say it's not, it is good to pull up. But what you should do is find and identify your strengths and play up your strengths, because those things you already do well, and when you play up to your strengths, you look even better, right? There's some things that people that have anxiety are really good at, or people who have anxiety and who are introverts, we're really good. We're really good. For instance, if you want to troubleshoot, you got a new process coming up and you need somebody to troubleshoot to the nth degree, go to your introvert and go to your person who's an introvert and anxious, because we're really good at worrying, right? Some of us are really good at worrying. We can look at a process and man, we can turn it upside down, right side up, spin it around this way, spin it around that way, tear it apart, put it back together, because we're good. We're really good at breaking it down and find out all the places it could possibly go wrong. Well, guess what, ladies? That's a strength. That is a strength. Your extroverts are not going to do that as well as your introverts. And if you have anxiety, you know what it is to worry, because we always go, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if? Well, take that what if process and then break down processes to break it down, like, if you did this and something went wrong, what could go wrong? If you did step two and that went wrong, what could possibly go wrong and how can we fix it? We're literally breaking down a process before it ever happens. That's a strength. Play it up, right? You need those kind of leaders. You need those kind of people on a team. Very good, right? And so those of us who are also anxious, especially if you have social anxiety, we sit back and we think and we ponder and we turn a decision, like I said, every which way but loose. We're going to think about stuff. We're not going to just jump in and do. We're going to sit, and those of you who are introverts, you understand what I'm talking about. We're going to sit before we make a decision, and we're going to look at all the possibilities. We're going to listen pretty much to what everybody has to say. Oftentimes we'll be the ones that pick out the merits of all the arguments, so that when we get ready to make that final decision, we kind of bring in decision points from all the possibilities into one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's a strength. Play that up, right? Nothing wrong with that, because sometimes, when you're taking your time and you're doing, you're trying to look at change management, you need that person who's anxious and who's an introvert, because we can break down those processes and we can find things that you probably never thought could go wrong. We're like, thought about it. Nope, nope. I know where I speak. Those are strengths. So when I say play up to your strengths, those are examples of playing up to your strengths, right? Be authentic. Be authentic. Don't be an extrovert. You're an introvert. That's fine. Now, some of us are, we call them ambiverts. We've learned to adopt some extrovert tendencies, but at heart, we're still extroverts. We can go play in the introvert world, but at the end of the day, we have anxiety, we have introvert, we're still going to need our time alone to rejuvenate, process, and see how things went and what could we have done better. What did we, how we do, right? How we do, and that's fine. Be authentically you. Don't try to be authentically an extrovert. Your reports are going to figure that out. They know when we're not being authentic. Just be you, and that's okay. It is absolutely okay to be you. Play up to your strengths and the weaknesses that you have. Find someone who is in your report and then delegate those duties to them, delegate those tasks to them, right? And I like to say this, and I just try to say it as much as I can. Great leaders develop other great leaders. So don't feel you're like shuffling off your job, or you're like, I'm not doing all of my job when you delegate. No, part of your job is develop new leaders, right? Future leaders. That's part of your job. So if you're good on this, so on the other, delegate that to someone who needs to build that as well. They're good with it, but they can be great if you delegate to them, right? And so there's no shame in it, and you are developing future leaders when you do that. So play up to your strengths, right? That's number one. Be authentically you, not authentically somebody else, because you're miserable. You try to pretend you're an extrovert, you're miserable, right? You're miserable. Try and pretend you're not anxious, you're miserable. Be who you are, right? The last, the next thing I want to talk about is if you are anxious, manage your time and your energy. If you're anxious and you're an introvert, you got to do both. It's not just about managing your time, but it's about managing your energy, right? You need to know when your energy is like your peak form, you can get stuff done, but you need to know when your energy starts to drop off, because you need to fit things into your peak time, right? I know that I got a call coming in right there. I know that when I have high powered interviews, whatnot, I'm going to want to go between 8 and 11 ish in the morning. Okay. I'm not really wanting to go between 1 and 3 if I can at all help it. So I think, okay, my YouTube froze up a little bit there because that call came in. But I'm not going to so much want to go between 11 and 3. Okay. It can depend. I am a night owl all day long. So if it's one of those 2, 3 o'clocks in the mornings for me, I'm not going to want to interview between 1 and 3, because I know that my energy is starting to slide by 12:31, especially if I eat lunch. The energy is sliding, right? And so I need to put everything up front. Now, I have some little tricks that I do, because you can't always not have an interview or not have a big meeting between 1 and 3. So I do have some things that I do, right? I can meditate, take my break out, and do deep breathing, belly breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, and I can meditate, close my eyes, and get very comfortable and go into very close to a deep sleep when I do that. 10 to 15 minutes is pretty much enough for me to come out of it, feel refreshed, and then go into my between 1 and 3 meeting. Okay. Me and caffeine, we kind of go back and forth, because the caffeine for me likes to kick in like between 1:30 and 3 o'clock in the morning. So I have to be careful with the caffeine. But I do like to meditate and get that little brief. My brother calls them power naps. I like to get my power naps in if I cannot move that between 1 and 3. Now, sometimes it's about looking out ahead of time and saying, I know you're loving what you do, you're night owl, but you actually have a meeting at 1 o'clock you can't change. That means the night before you need to be in bed at the right time so you can get up on time and you get everything going and moving, right? But that's about me managing my time and managing my energy, because I know when I start to slump. Now, I may slump between 12ish and about 3, and then about 3:34 I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to go, right? That's how it is. And so know your energy cycles. If you know you're an introvert and you have anxiety, know your energy cycles, right? Because one of the things that can trigger anxiety is if you're overly tired. It's easy to get triggered, right? Very easy. So those things that you have to manage. And for those of you out there who are worried about how your reports will think, well, you're going to have people reporting to you have anxiety. So what better thing can you do than to be a role model for those people, to say, yes, you can be a leader, but manage your time, manage your darn time, and manage your energy. You know what you can do. You know that if you don't exercise, if you don't eat correctly, if you're not getting enough sleep, your anxiety is just going to be hard to manage. And for us introverts out there, so is your energy. You already gotta have that energy to rejuvenate when you're alone. But the times you're alone, if you're not eating, not exercising properly, you're not getting enough rest, then it makes it harder when you've got to have all of your energy and be focused with a group of people, right? It can be done, but you just have to learn to manage it. So those are my motivational nuggets for you today. Can you be a leader who is both anxious and an introvert? Absolutely. I lead two corporations and I'm doing it. It can be done, right? You just have to understand what you need to manage, okay? You need to play it to your strengths. The things that you do well, play to your strengths. Don't always catalog. You know how we are when we have anxiety. We can catalog every weakness in the world that we think we have. Well, don't play it. Don't catalog all your weaknesses and try to improve all of those. I'm not saying don't improve, but pick one, as you go along, one at a time, and improve. Play to your strengths. Do your strengths because that's where you flourish. That's where you look good, right? And some of us who are worry warts because we're anxious and we're introverts, we can turn processes upside down. We can what if it break it down and tell you everything that may go wrong when it will go wrong, and then have a process to fix what might go wrong. We're good at that stuff. We just do it well. Okay, so play up your strengths. Be authentically you. Don't be try to be authentically some extrovert somewhere. No, be you. It is okay to be you. Okay, and then manage your time and manage your energy. Because if you're not eating right and you're not exercising right, you're not getting enough sleep, very easily for your anxiety to be triggered because you're overly tired, and it's very easy for your energy to teeter out. And you're an introvert, you only have so much energy, and before you need to go and rejuvenate. So, managing your time and your energy, looking at when you schedule things. And the last thing I like to say is this: understand that if your energy is all gone and anxiety is just difficult to manage, know when to call it a day, know when to take leave and take a break. When I was working for Jefferson County Health Department in Birmingham, Alabama, and we dealt a lot working with people who were mentally ill, but we worked with the people who were supposedly not mentally ill, managing those people who were mentally ill. It was a very, very extremely stressful job. It was just very stressful. Being a health inspector is very stressful. My hat is off to the health inspectors out there. I know you're doing your job, you're doing it well. And let me say, understand it's very stressful. So, what we would come in, and some days we would actually come in at the end of the day and tell a boss, mental health day tomorrow, I won't be in. And he understood, he never questioned. Frank would always go, okay, got it. See you the next day. See you the day after tomorrow. We could go in and just say, it's mental health day tomorrow. I can't make it in. Understand that there's just some days you need to call it a wrap. It's just a wrap. You're not doing this like every week. It's just that every blue moon. When it's like every week, it's just that every blue moon when your decision making capacity has been used for that day. You're tired, you're overly tired, you're anxious, call it a wrap. I'm going to take off today. I'm just going to drop some leave. I'm going to leave 2 hours early today. Or just say, today was that day. Tomorrow, I'm going to take off. Just leave at it. Come back refreshed. You off. Just leave at it. Come back refreshed. You got to know when you're at that limit. You have to know to call it a wrap. I have been so tired sometimes that I just, I couldn't even add 2 plus 2. And I just looked and said, okay, it's a wrap. I'm done. I'm going to go home. And said, okay, it's a wrap. I'm done. I'm going to go home. I'm going to eat. I'm going to get some rest. I'm going to eat. I'm going to get some rest. Take care of the kids. And then I'm going to go to bed early. And those are like 8 or 9. And people that know me, I don't go to bed at 8 or 9 o'clock. But those were 8 or 9 o'clock nights. I go to bed at 8 or 9 o'clock. But those were 8 or 9 o'clock nights for me because I had reached my decision making capacity. I couldn't make any more. We all have a certain limit, couldn't make any more, right? And so as leaders, understand when you get to that point when it's just time to take a break and walk away. Understand when that point is for you. Sometimes if you can't break away and walk away, know when to delegate. Have your people who can handle it for you, delegate, and then walk away. Okay? So those are my motivational nuggets for you today. I appreciate you watching and have a great rest of the week. Take care. Bye bye.